DeFi Kingdoms, where you can summon heroes, trade with other players, quest, and fight challenging enemies in a fantasy world brought to life in pixel art animation. Command your legion, claim your legacy.
Hello everybody and welcome to this week's AMA with DeFi Kingdoms. We do have some updates to share, and then we are going to go into some community questions as always. So very much looking forward to it. Welcome to everyone who is tuned in live, and welcome to everyone who watches this video later in the future. I do want to give a quick shout out. Hi Pi, we're excited to have you with us. We're gonna be talking about some updates for a few minutes, including one from Pi herself. But it's a rare treat that we get Pi on the AMA or in the AMA. Play on words. All right, let's kick things off. First up, just wanted to start with a note. I think many of you have heard it. If you watch streams regularly, which if you don't, shame on you, you should. Also, as you're watching those streams, make sure that you like and subscribe to all of our content creators and also ourselves, please, including this video. But that was off topic. As he himself mentioned last night in his stream, the phenomenal KP has stepped back into the community. I just wanted to take a minute, give him a shout out and say thank you for everything that he has done and continues to do, really. But he stepped in to help us out on some of like the social side and, some of like marketing strategy, that kind of thing. And he has been an awesome asset to us for however long. And, came to the decision that he could be more effective from within the community right now. And just super excited to have KP around always, no matter what. But just wanted to say a really big thank you for everything that he has helped us with in that time, and that we're excited to see what he does next.
Yeah, I'll just add, I really enjoyed working with him closely. Leading up to this, KP's always been somebody in the community that most people know and appreciate. He runs good in-person events. He's a great friend to make if you haven't connected with him on a personal level, and he's incredibly talented from not only business side, but from the developer side as well. So we're extremely lucky to have him offer his voluntary services and share things around marketing socials, some build things, as well as just overall brainstorming behind the scenes and kind of getting to see how the cookie is made, so to speak. But we appreciate him a lot, and we'll see what we do going forward. But excited to see him in Austin and anybody else who might be there, I'll just give that update real quick. We're in Austin next week, and there's things going on with Avalanche, Metis, Credit Combat, IFC2, a lot of big things there. So if you're in the area or considering, definitely go, and we'll likely see you some there, and KP and hopefully others there.
I'll just jump in real quick. Huge shout out to KP. Love working with that guy. Just such a great passion for the project and for the community. A real asset to be in our corner. And so just want to say thank you, KP, for everything that you've been doing and everything you will do. Excited to see you in Austin next week. Also, I'm also going to be jumping in at the Big Time event on the 29th. So if you want to come hang out at Big Time, and then like Dreamer said, big events with Avalanche, major event with Metis on the 30th. Get on that list, come on in. It's going to be a really good time. And then of course, Karate Combat right there in the center of it all. So lots happening next week, and excited to connect with all our partners and with all of you.
Awesome. Yeah, that was a great unintentional segue, Dreamer. But yeah, no, if y'all are in Austin or going to Consensus, make sure you hunt these guys down. I'm jealous I won't be there, but I expect all of you to track them as if you were hunting them, but then don't harm them and just say hi. But super excited for that. A lot of good stuff coming there. Second update, community votes. So we've talked about this for a couple weeks, that Fox has been doing some work on our governance system, and that we have a few votes that we are wanting to put out and get done. So as an update to that, both parts of that process are getting pretty close as far as the dev side goes, and then also just being organized and prepared for the votes themselves. So to that end, we will be hosting a special roundtable session next week. Hubert is forced to be there. Others may join. I'll be there. But we will be hosting a special roundtable next week to talk about those votes, what those votes are, when they're going to go live. We will be announcing ahead of time the start date and time so that people can make sure their assets are in the right places, as well as some instructions to make sure Holiday users are able to maximize their voting power as well. And we're gonna be dropping some alpha in that roundtable as well. So stay tuned for date and time on that. But looking forward to it, and it's gonna be a good one. So highly recommend you either tune in live, or if you can't, you catch it afterwards, because there's gonna be a lot of info in there. Hubert, Fox, or anybody else, anything y'all want to add to that?
I'll hop in first. And also, I just want to echo the sentiment, just like saying thank you to KP. It's been really great working with him, and looking forward to continuing to work with him in the future, as well as he is over there still creating awesome content and amazing things for the community. And yeah, he's just a really great guy. Really love him. About voting, let's see. I've been mentioning the past couple AMAs how I've been working on some things there with the interface, and it's getting really close now. It's in alpha testing. And I actually talked to Beetle Dude about maybe seeing if we could open that up to all of you guys here in the community to take sort of an early access look at it, if you guys wanted to sort of see how it works and play around with it. It's one of those things that we can test with a few votes internally, but it's also good to get a pretty good test with like a bunch of votes and sort of see how that holds up. So that might be something that I'll drop a link to over in Discord maybe later today, for a site that just has access to that. And of course, as it is a sort of like alpha type site for this individual feature, it could have bugs. It'll probably be a little bit rough around the edges. There will be things that will change, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's more of just, if anyone's interested in taking an early peek at it, it's there. And if you want to be able to cast your vote in our proposal that is up, then you'll be able to do so there as well. So looking forward to getting some feedback from that. And if you guys see issues, please let us know.
Also on that site, highly recommend go try voting and then leave. Like don't try to play on that site. It is set up for an intended purpose. Just don't push it.
Yeah, it's a good call out. Also, you'll probably have to like reconnect your wallet to it, because it's basically a different site than our actual regular site. So you'll have to basically connect your wallet, or else it won't even show the votes. And you'll have to probably like redo some of the settings. It'll have the sound be playing if you like that. I always have mine muted because I've got like 6 tabs with the same game in, and they start to like collide. But yeah, so there's all that. It has a separate local storage. So basically things like questing and all that type of stuff, I don't recommend completing it there, because then your other actual browser that has your other settings won't show the same things, and it'll get weird. So just do the vote. Don't do anything else. My recommendation. Good call out, Bola.
No problem at all. Yeah. And one other quick clarification, just in case it was not clear. The vote that will be on that test site is not the real vote, obviously. So it is 100% test. It's a test vote for the test site so that we can make sure everything is working properly. And, don't try to lose your assets by messing around on that site, please. Not that you'd actually probably lose them, but
Do we have like fun test votes queued up? Like, should Bolon try to chug a different drink than Mountain Dew on stream, or should Hubert make a video playing hopscotch against Fox? I feel like we should do something like that.
All right, I'll add one. There'll be a couple.
I've heard a lot of people say that you can't chug a Dr. Pepper, and I don't know what y'all are doing that you can't chug a Dr. Pepper, but that's neither here nor there. It just reminded me of it.
Let's vote about it.
Let's vote about it. I support it. So, uh, can Bolon drink a 100-liter fish tank filled with Mountain Dew? I don't know what liters are, but challenge accepted. Let's see. A couple other updates. The next one, a new raffle went live last night. It is for a token that I'm not allowed to pronounce. But no, so Klaytn is sponsoring a hunt raffle. They're giving 10 million cock per day to one winner for 25 days. So that went live in the UI last night. The first winner will be drawn in 5 hours and 49 minutes. So huge shout out to them for sponsoring a raffle. Super excited to see winners start coming from it. They may join us for a future AMA. They were not able to make it today. But just a big shout out to them, and also a big shout out to Dreamer and Sunbear out here hustling for these sponsorships and just keep on delivering. So right now we have 7 winners every day between Big Red, Klaytn, and the Crystal Jackpot. So huge shout out to you guys as well for always grinding on that front, which I will spill a little info a little early. We're going to talk about it at the end of the AMA, but there will be another raffle going live tonight as well. So we will be adding another prize into that pool. Dreamer, Sunbear, anything y'all want to add on that front?
Yeah, I'll say if you are enjoying like the raffles from sponsors, if you could just help by expressing the excitement to whatever sponsors community by either sharing that you won on Twitter and tagging them, or hopping in their Discord or their Telegram or whatever. This is trying to be a level up of traditional advertising where kind of everybody wins. The players get paid, the sponsor gets exposure, and ultimately we would like that exposure on both sides to create some cross-pollination. And as we hop into another community and say, I was playing DFK, did you know that the token you guys all like is being rewarded and I won today? If you're curious about how I won, go follow my favorite streamer, this person, or reach out to me or something. That would really help the overall effort. It'd also make like potential sponsors in the future see how that potential engine and machine runs. It isn't only about putting their name in front of you guys and like delivering their token to you on their desired chain. We're trying to also, pull in some of their community in, and them tweeting and sharing that it's happening is one thing. But when they see a player hop into their community, I think a lot of people will be like, ooh, they're coming here to talk about it. Maybe I'll go check it out. So just the request is to see these and you enjoy them and you're playing, whether you're winning or not. Ongoing support will just help us land more and maybe bigger ones and more often. So thank you so much to everybody that has expressed their excitement and gratitude. It's not only to us, it's really to the sponsors, because as of now, we're still not taking a cut or anything. It's not like give us X amount and half goes to players. Like, we do the work. And shout out to the Zipper, who I believe worked on the majority of that delivery system, which is originally designed by maybe Magnus or Fox, but we're doing all the work internally to get these, to deliver them and everything. But the sponsor, 100% of what they're putting up is going to the players. So if you could help on the overall benefit, since the majority of that, or all of it, is going to the players, that would be greatly appreciated and help us continue to grow it.
And I'll just add, you can kind of start to see the vision that based on what Dreamer is just sharing. Like, the vision is to get people engaged with this combat engine as much as is possible, so that we can get good testing, so that we can get good exposure, so we can get it out there, pull people in. Like, we're going full force on getting more sponsors, getting more rewards, getting these rewards into your hands, so that communities engage with us, you engage with them, pull them in as we prepare and really kind of ramp up for PvP, because this is just the beginning of rewards. like the big rewards that we're working toward are going to be in these big tournaments, right? So we want to give people a taste of what it's like to use this combat system, to become familiar with it, learn the strategies, learn the codexes, all that stuff, so that they are ready. And we have a good core of people that are ready for these tournaments moving into PvP. So stay tuned for more.
Right. I'll just add a little bit. When we're talking about rewards in this context, we're talking about external rewards provided by third parties. There's a huge potential for tournaments and then hosted tournaments. If we can show that sponsorships work for our PvE stuff and visages, it's just adding on that overall like pyramid of collaboration, of advertising, of organic marketing, where somebody that's provided hunt sponsorship is likely to also sponsor a tournament. And as they do that and people watch the gameplay, it's a lot more like shareable and a lot of like exponential growth baked in there. So we're working to get ongoing rewards for PvE, PvP, and everything we can. And just wanted to echo the gratitude there, but also the vision. It's going to be awesome when we got some big names come in and they say, all right, we want to sponsor a tournament. This is how we want it to look. This is how we want to stream it. These are like the parameters that we'd like to do, and a collaboration baked in, maybe even have a Visage link to it or so on. High five, big ticket item, everybody wins. And who knows, maybe in the next couple of years we have something like that. That's the goal. But it all starts with support of what we're doing at the moment.
Engage, engage, engage. Speaking of engagement, we also have an update to share if you have not seen it, which many of you probably have. But Layer Zero has announced their airdrop, as well as a program called RFP, which is part of that airdrop, where there is an allocation to protocols that are using Layer Zero, that those protocols can then essentially say, hey, we would like you to distribute that allocation in this way. So excuse me, we have been talking about that internally, about how we wanted to do that. And essentially what we are going to do, well, actually, before that, sorry. For those of you that have not seen the program, there's a couple caveats. One thing is Layer Zero requests 10% of that allocation go to the developer team. The other is that it is retroactive only. So it must be for activity prior to May 1st. So we have to look back and decide, where that's going based on those factors. And then obviously, they confirm the activity and all of that fun stuff. But what we are planning on doing is using that to reward a jeweler snapshot. So we're going to take a snapshot from the end of April, and then whatever that allocation ends up being, which we don't know, will then be divided and distributed to everyone that had holdings in the jeweler at the time of that snapshot at the end of April. And we are going to try to put that sheet of everyone out theoretically today, and then post the actual RFP tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that. And once the RFP is posted, if you would care to upvote it or leave a comment, please do feel free. Fox, I know you've been working on that. Anything you want to add there?
Yeah, I mean, the cool thing from a contract side is the snapshot is made a lot easier to do because of some really cool things that are in the C Joule and S Joule contracts, where basically anytime you make a deposit or a withdrawal, it adds an actual snapshot for each player, and that emits event and things like that. So basically there's actually a method you can call on the jeweler contract to get your balance or anyone's balance at any block ever, and it's really cool. And so for the standpoint of like this RFP snapshot, Layer Zero requested that, or stipulated that, any snapshots that are done as a part of this have to have been retroactive. Like, it can't be things in the future. So it's not a thing that like we could say next week we'll be doing a snapshot. It has to have been in the past before they announced it. So that's why we chose April 30th. I believe 12 p.m. GMT was the time we're looking. which I think is right up at the very cutoff of that. So yeah, if you had C-Jewel or S-Jewel at that time, then you'll be a part of this snapshot. And I'm indexing some events, and I have a query that I can run that makes it really easy and fast to pull that. And also we'll be using that, potentially for other things that we might need in the future. It's a really cool system to have in place, and I've alluded to this in the past, and it's really cool to be able to finally use it without having to spend a lot of time trying to do all kinds of in-depth analytics and like pull a bunch of data from here and there. It's a very easy way to just quickly say, here you go. And it was a perfect fit for this RFP because, that's exactly what they were looking for, and it's easy for us to do.
Awesome. Greatly appreciate it. Let's see, we already talked Austin. So for one final update, we're going over to Pi.
Yeah, hello everybody. It's been a while. It's really great to be up here on the AMA to share a great and exciting announcement regarding the merch store. Because this was a request from earlier this year, like in January. I was on a Mythic Squad stream, which was super fun, and we were talking about a lot of ideas about merch and things, and knowing that there's so many really, really talented people in the community who have created some DFK inspired merch or things, even just specifically on their own guilds, and just showing your pride and excitement of your own DeFi Kingdoms guilds and just the game in general. There's a lot of creative stuff out there, and we love all of it and want to support it and showcase it, and because we appreciate our community so much. And so there's the idea to showcase it by creating a page on the merch store, and it's like titled as a DeFi Kingdoms community merch showcase. So it's where we have had like people reach out to us, and we're not quite putting things like directly on our storefront and to be selling it through us and like into like our current system, but we wanted to have something, a page dedicated to the community to spread the word, and also spread the word and excitement of DeFi Kingdoms in general. So let's see, we'll drop the link and share it after the AMA, but currently we've got two that we are showcasing and sharing, and one is an amazing, awesome like poker card set, and it's made by Core Cre. Sorry, I'm butchering it.
Korean crafts, I
But
think.
yes, Core Create Crafts. There we go. It's like a tongue twister. But they're amazing poker cards. And Bolan, do you have it? You have it in person, right?
I do indeed. Yeah. So there we go. Zealous shared it in chat, and it is a tongue twister. Zealous made them, and then this is the storefront that they're through. But I do have them in person, and they are pretty epic. Not gonna lie. They look really nice. They turned out really nice. They feel good. They're high quality. I've been very pleased with them.
Yeah, and I'm very excited to get a set of that as well. And what's also on there is Silly Axolotl stamp, which is super cute. I just that guy's face is my favorite expression ever. So it's just like he's like the opposite of the bloater, pretty much. But yeah, so we have them featured, and then we've got Mythic Squad featured. Their iconic purple hoodie is all on sale on Etsy and things, and they've got some really fun creative other shirts as well. Really, really fun designs. Really, I think they're the stuff they come out is very very creative, and yeah, good stuff. So yeah, if I know that there are other guilds and others who have their own, like other people in the community who have stuff on like their own merch and things like that. Feel free to reach out and see how we can get you guys on this page and yeah, feature you guys. So yeah, this is my announcement, and I'm very excited for it. So yeah, just want to share gratitude to the community.
Awesome. Thank you, Pi. And yes, as she said, you know, if y'all are making merch, let us know. We're happy to highlight it. All right. Let's move into some questions. We're coming at you hot, Hubert. Regarding the additional Void Hunt reward system that is planned, is the reward going to be dropped similar to existing ones where at the end of each hunt there's a % chance for it to drop? Or will it be different in how it is handled with a different type of trigger?
Yay! It will be different. You will receive some amount of that reward with every hunt, but that amount will vary based on things that we'll talk about when we're closer to announcing that thing.
I love things. Let's see. So there's a question from Sergeant Filthy McNasty about the Layer 0 RFP, which I believe we've already answered. I just wanted to highlight that he claimed in this question that he read, and I don't know if I believe that, but it was a great question about what our plans for that RFP were, which we've already addressed. So moving right along. At one point, we had talked about a champion system that would allow players to rent their heroes. Is that something that we are still planning, and does it relate to PvE and or PvP?
I don't remember who's leading this one. Should I go?
Either way, Dreamer. I can follow up if you want to start.
How about you go first?
Okay, yeah. So the champion system, when we were first considering that, was really at a time in our development when there was a big barrier to entry. I mean, heroes that were on, being sold were hundreds of dollars, and it was a real concern. Like, how are we going to help people get into the game that don't have that ability to really invest? So we were thinking champion program where there could be like shared rewards and rentals and things like that. And as the market really kind of shifted and more heroes came into the ecosystem, that really wasn't as big of a concern. We did have partners out there that were really focused on creating rental systems and integrating with us, but it was a lot of work that we'd have to really prioritize and focus on, where we really chose to build the game out more. And so it became kind of a different time and not a priority. However, given that we are now building up into the PvP time for DeFi Kingdoms and tournament play and things like that, it is an interesting question. It's, if we want to attract competitive esports players without having to have them come in and do the full level up and purchase and everything, it might be beneficial to look at a rental system of some kind where people could potentially come in, build a team, try it out, jump into a tournament because they're looking for those rewards. And it might be a nice way to kind of, spread out into the various ecosystems. So it's something I think we need to talk about, look at, and see where it might land on that priority list. I also have a whole list of partners that are ready to help build this that we could revisit as well. So I think it might be time to look at it again. So we'll have to see where that lands, and appreciate the question.
Nice, you covered most of what I was going to say. I'll just add, like, as PvP comes out, we're going to learn a lot. We're going to learn a lot about heroes. We're going to learn about our community and how we engage, the onboarding process. If there are new parts of the in-game economy that folks that also enjoy the play-to-earn aspect, maybe that will kind of develop or take off. Having folks focus on supplying heroes for other players to rent is something where the needs will shift as what we can do in the game, what we can do with those hero shifts. And PvP could be really cool for that. I imagine tournaments or private matches or your hosted tournaments will likely have the ability to like toggle that off if we ever go that way. So if anybody's thinking, oh no, there's gonna be big tournaments that people can just go and rent some heroes real quick and then not be a long-term owner, we're kind of thinking about all that in the customization. And before we consider any movement to designing and building something like this, we'd want to make sure that like all players are considered, not only the new ones, but the OGs and everything there. But the core message is this was really looking at a way to like look at the main feature at the time of questing, provide a solution that is safe and not like a automated bot that promotes like ongoing actual real engagement, looking at Axie's model and how we could benefit from it. But as Sunbear very well summarized, things kind of changed and we evolved and have new features, and there's other solutions for that as well. One of our own being the expeditions, which is in progress, that could help with one of the core concerns of how do I do more. There's another piece though that allowed people to come in and play for and behalf of others. It wasn't just new players like consuming the rentals. The original system was also allowing people to like quest for and behalf of others and share rewards, as was alluded to. Unclear if like we'll return to that where you can like play for and behalf another account to like PvP for them. If there are people that have heroes that they're not really good at it, but they have the assets and want to partake in tournaments. That's another aspect of this that we haven't considered, but we'll likely have to have discussions on, how far a rental system goes and what the toggles are on and off and who it impacts. So as we've explained here, it's a big topic to consider and probably even a bigger one to build. We got a lot of work to do this year. So I don't expect, and I would appreciate no like follow-ups in a week or two. Like, are you guys going to do this? We don't even know if we are. We're answering a good question, and it'll likely be well after PvP is out and, getting new heroes out and other really awesome features before we consider an extension of that being a rental service.
Awesome. Appreciate you gentlemen and that insight. Let's see. So bit of a potentially loaded question. In the future, when we start looking at building dungeons, do we have thoughts on if we would be looking at more like short rapid fire dungeons or potentially lengthy, potentially like multi-day dungeons?
Multi-day sounds a bit much, but I think we're not that close to being to where we're developing dungeons, so it's very early to say. But I could see there being a mix of like shorter ones and longer ones. Like something that's like a multi-day one, that might be something that would be pretty involved to create, and we'd have to really think like if it was more like a massive dungeon where like its progress requires multiple people to participate in it and something like that would be very far down the road where we would consider doing something of that nature. I think just for like general consumable content, there is kind of a time limit that most people have, so we're going to want to stay within people's regular gaming time limits that we as much as we can. So yeah, it's kind of very early to say, but I would, I'd like there to be kind of a mix. I'd like there to be some that are very easy to do and some that are very, very hard to do also, just to kind of have a good mix of them, and some that have like special entry requirements and things like that as well. So yeah, it'll be a while before we get to it, but I don't want to rule out too many options at the moment.
Appreciate you. This question I can kick off, and then if anybody wants to add, please feel free. In terms of in-game costs, such as summoning, thoughts on it being more dynamic and based on USD value. On the USD value front, we do not fix prices. So, I mean, that's ultimately what it boils down to, is the moment you kind of start fixing prices on assets, you open regulatory questions, and as such, we do not do so. However, in terms of the like general cost of summoning, I mean, ultimately it is something that can be changed, but it would not be something that we would change unilaterally. So that would, very much fall into the governance system. If there is demand for it to be changed, an agreement on what it should be changed to, then that can absolutely be looked at. Anybody want to add anything to that?
Yeah, maybe I'll just elaborate on we don't fix prices. So there's a fixed price based on a variable token, and we don't control the price of that token. So at any point in time, the fixed number of the token required to summon, which is variable in nature, it's kind of dependent on the market. The market is really dictating how expensive things are or are not. However, we can look at how many of those variable tokens relative to other features that have come about since the origin of the summoning feature, and maybe consider adjustments that are healthy for the ecosystem. But that, I don't think would ever be, let's just make it X bucks. That kind of would have a cascading effect, especially in up and down markets, and people speculating utility or rarity or application and so on. So I think for many reasons, unless it's something that's cosmetic and is very clear what the utility is or isn't, then we're not going to be looking to fix prices.
Awesome. Question for Pieface, who is here today with us. Hey, Pie. Thoughts on having a purchasable floor mat item in the merch store where purchasers could paste some hero IDs that they feel were rugs so that they could walk on top of those heroes and feel better?
That sounds like a very custom item. And also it sounds kind of like a little bit voodoo, kind of like a voodoo doll type of situation. And I don't know how I feel about that, about doing that to those heroes. But if we can make it look cute, that'd be cool. So it's on the list. Well, not really. There's an imaginary list, and then there's the actual list.
Do we anticipate badges being added to heroes who compete in the Coliseum?
I think if that's referring to the Perilous Journey badges and things that would go on the hero card themselves, I would say likely not, unless we were doing something very special. But badges that are potentially an accessory that you get for winning a tournament or something like that, I think would be more possible. So I guess it kind of depends on what was meant by that. But I assume it was probably the first case, but probably not something that we would do a lot of things like that. So
also important to keep in mind real estate. There's only so much room. Let's see. When we're ready to start working on lore again on the back end, do we anticipate that we may try to bring someone back or bring in someone new?
Well, hello. So yeah, I don't know if people have noticed, but there's lots of lore being sprinkled in around and in everything. So I actually think we've probably put in more lore than we had before in the last year, all told. And it's it's the way that I think the philosophy has changed a little bit to be more along the lines of lore for gameplay's sake. And I think as we see the PvP zone, realm, whatever you want to call it, you'll hopefully see a lot more of that. I do think we have a nice baseline of lore that we are building on top of. And as we, we're definitely trying to focus on making it more part of the gameplay. And why are you doing this? What is this new place? Why are you fighting? All these kinds of things. So the more we push forward on the gameplay, the more that those things will kind of manifest. And I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe lore is not the right word, but I think world building might sum it up pretty well. And I'll just give a shout out to SBD and Hubert, and I guess myself, and also Workhorse. Just we do have a monthly lore meeting to talk through important things, and we just had one the other day, and it was very helpful in determining how the new Metis areas will be used and utilized, and how they fit into the current game world. So yeah, I guess if the question is where's the world building at, it's coming and will continue to come.
You better include yourself in that shout out. I was going to do it for you if you didn't. Appreciate you guys. Thoughts on having a kind of wishing well-esque system, but it is a cemetery where you can go and make an offering, have a chance of getting a reward back, but that chance is dependent on how many heroes you have burned and sacrificed to the pit.
Oh, that's a lot to build. Yeah, it's it's a little. I don't know. I don't know that we would be focusing on doing something like that. Like we don't have those things being tracked by the contracts for one thing, so we'd have to kind of backtrack everything at that point to do it. Like we'd have to reload in however many burns have just happened, and I don't think that with the other burn system that we've been alluding to, that beans might get spilled pretty soon on. I don't know that that would really fit well with that either. So I think we'll stick with what we're doing probably.
Awesome. Have we given any thought on what we intend to do with any rewards earned from the LP on Hercules? Dreamer, you want to kick that one off?
I shall kick. Yeah, in order to participate in that, we had to consider using parts of the treasury, and we did it for a couple of reasons. The core reason was really we wanted like a reliable, safe, and supported by Metis place for our tokens to live. For now, Jewel, and that was the best solution there. They're a good team. It is unclear how things will go in the future for that offering. We're wishing them well. Our main goal was to provide a solution there, because on all previous chains, we've provided our own solution, and that would have greatly complicated the build and the risk and like how much we're putting there outside of our focus on PvP. So it's a great solution. Outside of that, there are rewards that come from it. When we partnered with them to show up in a big way, it also set things up for anybody in the community who might be staking to be eligible for some better rewards. The rewards that come to the project under like a different pool and a different agreement, they're expected to be sticky and promote the project to continue to stake. So it's kind of by design meant to go to the project. It did come from our treasury. It'll likely contribute to things that our treasury contribute to, whether they're operational costs or build or incentives or others. So we haven't really decided that, since we're not in a rush to like pull out rewards and monetize them immediately. But it is worth noting where they came from, why we did it. Core purposes have already been really met successfully, and ongoing rewards, so it'll just be a cherry on top that'll benefit the project of DFK as a whole.
Appreciate it, sir. Beetle Dude, thoughts on having the sound effects of birds in Serendale change in volume as you zoom in and out?
All right. Well, you see, the thing about birds is that they're not real, Bolon, so I can't.
That is true.
Can't even comment on this at all. No, I'm kidding. I think that I find that to be an interesting idea. I think it's maybe a little bit of a side quest tangent to the other things that we're prioritizing right now. Yeah, maybe Dags is got the kicker there. So probably the amount of work might outweigh the pleasure of zooming in and out. But I think as we as we get further down the line, when we're into polishing mode, I'm sure we'll do a lot more on the sound front. I know Sam is hard at work right now, working through soundscapes for the new Metis areas, which is super exciting. I think, like I said, I think as we get further along, we'll have more time to think about some of these maybe smaller things, but that could also be impactful and fun to have.
Appreciate you, Beetle. So we mentioned a couple weeks ago that we were not going to be focused on classes at the moment as we focused and prepared for PvP. Thoughts on if we think that there could be more classes before we start up our official tournaments?
I'd say that's a maybe. We do have additional resources helping with the combat engine, with Typical coming in and having supported that since Berserker. And I like right now we're having him focus on implementing traits. So there's that, and then there's also pet combat bonuses that I've been pushing for us to get across the finish line as well. So I think those two things I'd want us to continue to focus on and get done first. And I guess if there's time after that, then attention would probably get turned to the next class. I don't know if that's going to work out to actually be out in time for when we have tournaments out. So maybe.
Maybe indeed. Thoughts on having sorry, completely failed to speak there. Thoughts on having an NPC designed to feed heroes' egos, so you can choose a category to rate the hero on, such as strength stat, and it looks at other heroes in the game and tells you how that hero ranks compared to other heroes.
That sounds close to sort of what you're building over there, Hubert. I mean, not close at all, but it's something that could be impacted by it.
It's not very close at all, really. But yeah, I feel like this is more of a Beetle being like, "Do you want to put it on your list?" kind of thing. An analysis of all other heroes and a response based on that. That's a pretty decent chunk of work, I think, to do for just kind of a for fun feature.
It sounds like a great community project.
It does.
Wink, wink.
You
wink,
can
wink,
kind of
nudge,
do
nudge.
currently on ADFK's website.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think it's all about priorities. We're kind of we're maximizing our efficiency, I guess, and trying to get out the most important things. So I think probably all like extraneous items are just gonna wait until there's time. So yeah, community. Love you guys. I'm glad it already sort of exists. But if there's more to it, then yeah, that sounds like a great one.
Let's see. Similar with duels, people are starting to prepare for PvP already. Thoughts on giving some details ahead of time? Not yet, just in general ahead of time on the first tournaments that are to come in terms of tournament structure. I think that, at least from my perspective, that will probably happen. Obviously, we've still got some time prior to that, but I think that would more than likely be what we would look to do anyway. If anybody has thoughts on that, feel free, but at least from my perspective.
I think in terms of like the structure of the tournament, it's a little early to say. I think we are going to be building it so that there's a lot of customization in terms of which heroes can join, and So I think we'll be looking at how to balance some things as far as like the power level of the heroes that are there, the levels that they can be, things like that. And I think we can have a few different types of tournaments that are available. But yeah, it's a little bit early to say for right now. We haven't really spent time to like really decide on some of those things, but yeah, I think you can expect at least that we wouldn't really want, if there's like limited number of entries, we wouldn't want it to get filled with a mixture of level 20s and a mixture of level 1s, for example. That would be pretty clear where the winners are going to be. So yeah, anyway, just some thoughts. Don't really have an answer on that side anyway yet.
Appreciate it, Hubert. Any thoughts on timeline or priority level of the new burn mechanic that we have teased thus far?
Well, it's I mean, we've been kind of alluding there's going to be some beans dropped next week, and I'll just say that they might be related to that. But and so I guess that will kind of give at least a little bit more of a impression about how soon we want that to be out. There are a lot of different things that we need to get in place for PvP, and so there's kind of it's a matter of our resources and our bandwidths. But this is something that, as I think will be kind of made apparent if we spill beans on that next week, will kind of show that it's tied to other features in some ways, and because of that, I would like it to come out very close to those other features. And so it's not too far away, but still a little bit far away in terms of not next week, not this month, not next month.
Stay tuned. But no, definitely chime in. Like I said earlier, we'll announce the time and date for that roundtable, but definitely tune in. There's going to be some good stuff. And to answer the questions in chat, the reason that we are not doing it today is because we want to spend some time on it. We want to walk people through it, explain it. Like, I think Hubert is potentially planning on breaking all of our brains with math. We want to do it justice in the explanation. So rather than take, probably half of this AMA for that, we're going to do it separately, which also lets us then talk about the other community votes that we're going to be doing at that same time as well. So that's why not today, but stay tuned. Let's see. I'm going to grab a couple more questions and then we will launch some fun. I'm just going to say it that way for now. I know we touched lightly on it last week, but if there's any updates that anyone would like to give, that is fine. Any updates on expeditions?
Well, I see we don't have Magnus or Zipper here. Oh, Zipper's in the chats, of course. But it is really starting to come along. That's all I'll say for now. But just want to give kudos to those two because they're really killing it.
Yeah, want to give a props to Mr. Zipper. He's doing an awesome job, making good progress and getting everything in a good spot. So appreciate him.
For sure. Yeah, things are moving. They're moving for sure. Shout out to both of those guys for doing some great work. All right. One final question, and then we will have a little bit of fun for a few minutes and wrap up. We were talking about combat, and I believe, Hubert, you may have mentioned a couple things that were in progress at the moment. Any thoughts on the idea? We've talked about it a little bit before, but just as a follow-up, any thoughts on the idea of having a single ability for classes without codices, sorry, wrong plural, or how those upcoming features kind of could potentially take care of that on their own?
Yeah, so I mean, I have thought about the idea of there being just some generic ability that we just give to the classes that aren't implemented yet, and something like that could potentially work. It's just a matter of like time spent doing that, and I don't think we've decided that it like that time is better. Like it seems to us that we should just spend our time focusing on what we're focusing on. But with that said, the traits, as I mentioned before, we are planning to add those fairly soon. It probably will be kind of timed around PvP, but those will be usable by all classes. They are only the active traits are one activation per trait per battle. So those kind of act in that manner to an extent. And then with pet combat bonuses, I guess we'll have to see on that because we haven't announced too much about that. But there may be some extra help that the pets could provide as well on that regard.
Awesome. Thank you for the insight. And sorry, I was reading chat. So, to wrap us up today, we actually do not have a special guest. I thought we were going to, but they are in the Fiat Mines. However, we do have something that was sent from them to replace their lack of presence. So, the last few weeks, we've given Matty Pesk and Bogside Chats a little bit of a hard time. And so Franz has sent a video to respond to some of these things. I'm going to actually, you know what? I'm going to save my comments for afterwards. So he also will be giving us a preemptive bullish with this video, but we'll circle back to that as well. So everybody hang out for a minute and let's hear what Franz has to say.
Friends, colleagues, identical twins, and all citizens of Crystal Vale and Sarandale. I finally had a chance to listen to last week's AMA, and I must say I'm deeply saddened to see that a once great outlet for DFK information has been turned into a fake news megaphone for the Mythic Squad propaganda. For those of you who don't know, last week there were comments made regarding the Void Hunt leaderboards. It was stated that no Bogside member is in the top 100 on those leaderboards. Now, I've received many DMs over the years alleging that Bolon Sauron is in the pocket of Mythic Squad. I always replied that it couldn't be true, I wouldn't believe it. However, after hearing him parrot these erroneous allegations with no attempt to corroborate them, it would seem that even the best of us can be corrupted. Imagine my surprise after another day of flawless, artful, majestic void hunting, to hear that it was being proclaimed that not only was I not in the top 10 in win rate, that I wasn't even in the top 100? The panic subsided when I checked the leaderboards to see that I am still 7th best win rate in Rockbach Hunt and the 12th best win rate in Boar Hunt, with no Mythic Squad member above me. What a relief that their manipulation and corruption hasn't yet reached Born to Die 007 and his hallowed listings. Now that I've corrected this preposterous claim, only one question remains. Is the Mythic Squad bad for the DFK community? Well, that's not for me to say, but I think we should all take some time out of our day to think long and hard about it. One thing that the Mythic Squad's press secretary Bolon Sauron said that was true, however, all these feuds will be settled in the Coliseum when PvP is released. I look forward to the challenge, as I'm sure the rest of you do. To be ready for PvP, we all need very rare, powerful items to help grow our heroes. That is why, starting tomorrow, Bogside Chats will be sponsoring a week of Void Hunt raffles. Each day for 7 days, we will be raffling off one Greater Atonement crystal. I know what you're thinking. Franz, surely Bogside is setting itself up to be one-upped by Mythic Squad with their own bigger, better raffle in the coming weeks. And that might be the case. I guess we'll have to see how they respond.
Wow.
Yeah, Yep. So first and foremost, thank you, friends, for putting that together. Like I said, we've given Maddie a hard time for a couple weeks, so I think it's only fair to have a response from Bogside. That said, I don't know why I'm getting all these drive-bys here. I just read the questions, y'all. That's it. I just read the questions. But no, that was absolutely awesome. Love all of you guys. Y'all are phenomenal. I am of all guilds and of none. That is my role. But super excited to see this battle commence in the Coliseum. I feel like there's a lot of build up for this now. One thing I wanted to highlight real quick, and then I'll stop talking if anybody else wants to say anything. But he mentioned there at the end, today, actually, at the cooldown turnover today in 5 hours, the Bogside Chats raffle will begin showing in the UI with the first winner drawn tomorrow, and they are giving a Greater Atonement crystal to one lucky winner every day for 7 days. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be super exciting. Looking forward to it. And that's another prize that's out there for those daily hunt raffles. So make sure you're getting your entries. Anybody else have any thoughts or anything? I really feel like, Hubert and Workhorse kind of started this, and then I took all the blame here.
What?
I think it was actually Workhorse that called out Maddie first, but that's fine.
You're trying to spread the load or something?
Yeah.
I will say I was laughing so much during that. That was great.
I would love to see some really epic private matches be queued up between these two giants in the community. But Bolin, it seems like you're gonna have to be fighting everybody. I kind of want to see you defend your name and your honor. I hope you're getting your heroes ready too, because there'll come a time where you're gonna get called out. You better be ready.
If I have to defend my name and honor in the Coliseum, I have bad news for everybody. But hey, I'm here for it.
I'd watch it.
I'm here for it. Let's go. I am 100% down to PvP anybody, anytime, once it's live.
Just set your own rules. Just be like level 1 archers only. Let's go.
Exactly. Yeah, y'all don't even know the kind of troll stuff I've got planned. But no, huge shout out to Bogside Chats for the sponsored raffle. Excited to see how Mythic Squad respawns. But all in all, I just want to say, like, this is such a good, significant, example of why we love you guys and why we love our community, because it's a game. It's about having fun, and this is part of that fun. I know for a fact that there's no bad blood between Bogside and Mythic Squad. Like, it's fun. That's the goal. I look forward to having guilds battle it out in the Coliseum and just continue to engage, enjoy, get some trash talk in there. Trash talk is the best. It's the best part of any gaming experience. Just look at every League of Legends player, obviously. So super excited for that. Huge shout out to both Bogside and Mythic Squad, and shout out to Maddie for being a good sport about us, giving him a hard time for weeks now. But just absolutely just so excited for what's to come with all of this. So with that, we can actually start our wrap up. I'm going to nominate Pi to go last and give us our ending bullish, just because we never get Pi on the AMA. But any final thoughts from anybody outside of that? And I'll just say, as always, don't ape into broken mechanics. Anybody else have anything?
I have thought.
We want to hear the thoughts.
Okay. So it came to my attention that I misgave kudos, but there's a kind of a message behind this as well. If you look at the awesome feature of allowing third parties to sponsor and deliver it on their native chain and allow an automated raffle, it was a really, really awesome build. And actually, Hubert was the one that designed a lot of the stuff behind the scenes. This isn't Hubert's core job. Behind the scenes, a lot of us are doing more than what, our description really says. We're in various committees. We're trying to group our brains on tokenomics and marketing, on building game. And I did want to correct the kudos, but really make sure that people see, like, a lot of stuff that we're working on. It comes from passion. It comes from finding the best solution. And sometimes we have some really good ideas that don't actually get across the line, and actually happens more than you might think. But with each idea, we're really doing our best to figure out the right approach, the best, assumption sometimes, and prediction, and looking at facts, looking at risks. But I just wanted to give that shout out to the team and the community. You know, you guys aren't just players, you do so much more. In the video we saw today, that was time taken away to be creative, to be fun, to build community, build a little bit of a rivalry leading up to PvP. That's exactly what we need from our players. We need our players to have fun with the content we have. Look forward.
Oh no.
You're doing that for us. Did you guys lose me?
You randomly dropped for a second. We missed your last sentence there.
Oh, it was a good one. Just assume it was really good. And I think that people probably would have cried if they heard it, but I'll just leave it at that. Thanks, everybody, and kudos to the team and the community for going above and beyond.
It's like that Tenacious D song. That's not the greatest song in the world.
Just a tribute.
Any other final thoughts? All right, over to you, Pi, for anything you want to add, and a good old bullish.
Ah, nice. Yeah, that's finally got some pie here. And I would love to wrap everything up with a very big bullish.
Bullish.
Bullish. Thanks, everyone.
See you all next
Think
week.
so. See ya.
DeFi Kingdoms, where you can summon heroes, trade with other players, quest, and fight challenging enemies in a fantasy world brought to life in pixel art animation. Command